Coping with COVID and In It Together present Wellness Wednesday, brought to you by the Diabetes Advisory Council of South Carolina and DHEC's Division of Diabetes and Heart Disease Management.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor.
Happy Wellness Wednesday. It is Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Advisory Council. I'm Tre Tailor, and today we're talking about water safety, how important it is, who should be prepared, how to get prepared, plus swimsuits, goggles, and swimming caps, all of that and so much more. We're going to talk to Mandy McWherter with the American Red Cross, and then we go over to Jeep Rodgers YMCA, such a great facility out there, to talk with Aquatics Director Amy Dodson. Interesting and life-saving information today on coping with COVID. But first, your COVID community updates. The CDC and DHEC says everyone, including those who are fully vaccinated, should wear masks indoors. Now, the change is due to the increasing cases of the Delta variant in many areas, South Carolina being one of those. Now, community leaders are being encouraged to make the recommendations, plus teachers, staff, and visitors to K through 12th grade schools are being encouraged to wear a mask. In just the last 3 weeks, the number of hospitalizations for COVID has increased from 127 to 453 in South Carolina alone. Currently, 43% of South Carolinians are vaccinated, among the lowest rates in the nation. Meanwhile, the White House is strongly considering requiring federal workers to be vaccinated or at least submit to regular testing and wearing a mask. Earlier this week, the Department of Veterans Affairs became the first federal agency to put a vaccine mandate in place for healthcare workers. SCDHEC has your most up-to-date list of times, dates, and locations for COVID testing and vaccinations in and around South Carolina. Visit scdhec.gov for more information. Also, don't forget that if you are a veteran, you will be going to the VA to find out information about testing. The VA is handling all testing for veterans. Also, don't forget that FEMA is handling the information for those folks who have passed away. If you or someone you know has had a loss due to COVID, please contact FEMA for more information. Also, if you are still interested in getting vaccinated, and we sure hope you do, the COMET bus system is giving free rides to get your vaccine. Don't miss your shot. Catch the COMET to get your vaccine. You can also go to the COMET bus station on the corner of Main and Sumter Streets in Columbia, South Carolina, and get your vaccination. You can see the information on the screen for more information. Now, if you need some help making an appointment, getting vaccinated, Get Set Up is a free resource for seniors to help make your COVID vaccine appointment. You can see the information on the screen. Free classes are available. You can visit that website or call that number. Also, there are several retail outlets that are offering COVID vaccinations in South Carolina, Kroger, and also Target, and the Target stores that are the CVSs that are in Target stores. Again, you can see that information on the screen. Now, throughout the show, you will see scrolling at the bottom of the screen a comprehensive list of all locations in South Carolina where you can get a COVID vaccination and a COVID test. Hey, don't forget about the Affordable Care Act enrollment. That's going on until August 15th. If you want more information, you can see if you qualify for additional subsidies, even if you have already gotten your insurance. Of course, you can sign up for healthcare through August 15th, or make sure you contact them to see if you qualify for a subsidy. Rental and bill payment assistance is still available in South Carolina. Richland County SC.gov has more information available. You see that opened back in April, but they still have more resources available. Also, SC Housing has partnered with Dominion Energy for not only bill payment assistance, but also housing assistance. And also SC Housing has a great program for first responders. They've got a home buying program. Now, if you or someone you know needs some assistance coping with COVID, contact SC Hopes from the South Carolina Department of Mental Health. There's a toll-free number and resources available if you need it. I'm Tre Tailor, and you are watching Coping with COVID, updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for Coping with COVID, updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. It's Wednesday, so that means it's Wellness Wednesday. In It Together, SC and the Diabetes Advisory Council of South Carolina present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. Hey, don't forget to go to the In It Together Facebook page where we are streaming live. You can also get some great information from that In It Together Facebook page about diabetes prevention programs. We're also streaming live on the Tailor Made Production page on Facebook. Please go over there, hit like, share, and follow so that not only you can find out when you can watch Coping with COVID Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and of course, first Mondays with comedian George Wallace at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're also streaming live on YouTube. Hello to all of you YouTubers. Thank you so much for joining us. And we also have a presence on Instagram. Today, we're talking about water safety. And Mandy McWherter is with us. She is the Regional Communications Director, Manager at the American Red Cross. Mandy, I want to say Amanda, but it's Mandy. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us on today, Tre. We really appreciate the chance to spread the message about water safety.
Absolutely. Before we get to that, I want to know why Mandy and not Amanda. Did you have a bad Amanda experience?
I just had a reinvention, and that's what I went with. And luckily, it's been funny with my email confusion, but we'll get there. I'm getting married soon, so hopefully we'll sort out the email.
Well, I was going to say, what you get married, it'll be a whole nother reinvention of your name.
I think so.
Well, Mandy, I'm so glad that you are joining us today too, because even though we are smack dab in the middle of summer, people, particularly in the South, are going to be using water, whether it's swimming or we're using water all the time. So water safety is so important, and important to realize it does go beyond just swimming.
Yeah, water competence and water safety are essential life skills. It's really important to know how to swim, or to not, if you don't know how to swim, then to at least feel confident and know how to access resources when you're in and around water so that you can stay safe and keep your family safe.
Let's talk a little bit about water competency. What does that exactly mean?
Yes, water competency means being aware of your surroundings and having a knowledge to know how to access different resources if they're available. So if you're around the water and you don't know how to swim, that means that you have a life jacket on, or that you have those types of things for yourself or for others that you may be observing. And it also means being present when you're near the water so that you can maintain an eye on your family and keep kids safe and keep others that don't know how to swim safe, and just really being aware of your surroundings. That's what water competence means, is being present, being aware, and staying focused, and keeping yourself with all of your faculties in place when you're around the water to stay safe.
Now, you mentioned something about kids, and I read a statistic that said drowning is the leading cause of death in children.
It's terribly sad. And that's why the Red Cross is always pushing the message about learning how to swim. And we provide all kinds of lessons throughout the country, throughout South Carolina, with different providers that offer those learn to swim lessons. And the good news is we typically think of swim lessons as something that's for young children, but the Red Cross has a learn to swim program that's graduated, and it's for anyone of any age.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I wanted to mention that about swimming. Obviously, children need to know how to swim first. How young should a child start getting into water and get used to having some water competence, as you call it, or being familiar with the water, the do's and don'ts?
Yeah, children as young as 6 months of age can start to feel comfortable in the water. So we recommend whatever age you're comfortable getting your kids accustomed and comfortable in the water is a great time to do that. But it's also important that when we're monitoring children around the water, that we teach them from a young age to ask permission and to make sure that someone is always watching them, because it's easy for them to get overconfident with their own abilities, especially if they're used to wearing floaties or using different flotation devices, that everyone can get a little complacent. So we always encourage folks to keep an eye on children, especially when they're young and still learning how to swim.
Yeah, and then of course, if you're never too young, 6 months, you're never too old either, huh?
Exactly, yeah, and we're definitely seeing that more adults are becoming more comfortable with asking for that help and willing to learn at any age. So it doesn't matter how old you are, you can always learn how to swim. And it's like I said, it's an essential life skill.
Yeah. You mentioned the floaties that kids wear. Let's talk a little bit about that. One, is there an approved type of floaty, or should they really wear that or just wear a life jacket?
Yeah, we look for all different kinds of layers of safety. So certainly a U.S. Coast Guard approved life jacket is a necessary and recommended piece of safety equipment. And it's also important to note that the size of the life jacket matters. So the life jacket that you might wear or that I might wear is not the appropriate life jacket for a small child. So Coast Guard approved life jackets come in all different sizes, from babies to youth and to adults. And it's important to have a well-fitting life jacket because it will prevent you and the child from slipping out of that life jacket.
So is that better than a floaty? Those little floaties we see kids wear?
Absolutely. We always recommend that the U.S. Coast Guard approved life jackets are the best option. And that's what the Red Cross recommends. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I know that there are several different types of things people have to be conscientious about in different areas. It's something different for a pool or a beach or even in a hot tub. Let's go through that. Coping with COVID is brought to you by In It Together SC and the Diabetes Advisory Council of South Carolina. I'm Tre Tailor, and Mandy McWherter with the Red Cross. She is the Regional Communications Manager, and we've been talking about water safety. Let's first talk about the pool, Mandy. What do people need to be conscientious about?
Absolutely. So when you're going to the pool, visiting that in your neighborhood, or maybe it's a public pool, it's important to pay attention to your surroundings. So if you're in a community pool, you want to look to patronize pools that have barriers around them. So we're talking about fences with gates, and particularly a gate that latches, because if you're unloading your children out of the car, they can easily run in if there's no gate or barrier that's stopping them, and then they can be under the water while you're still unpacking all the fun toys and the towels and all that sorts of stuff. So it's important to use pools that have external barriers to protect people. Also, another distinction with pools versus other open bodies of water is we can see the bottom of a pool. In most cases, and it's desirable that we can. That means the pool is clean, but it's different. When we can see the bottom of the pool, we know what we're getting into. So we can scan the water, we can check for folks on the bottom of the pool. It's not easy to do that in rivers, lakes, or the ocean. We don't know what's underneath us. If we're jumping in off of a rock at the swimming hole, we want to be able to know what's underneath us. So it's important to check out your surroundings, especially if you're going to go into something where you're not familiar with the wildlife that's underneath, different hazards like rocks or down trees or things of that nature that could be under the water when you're in open bodies of water that you're not familiar with. So it's important to keep aware of all those things.
So let's talk about those open bodies of water and lakes. And would beaches be the same thing as a lake?
Yeah, and when you're at a local beach, sometimes they're going to have lifeguards, and sometimes they won't. Of course, a lifeguard is always the preferred place to swim because you have that additional layer of protection. But absolutely, anytime you can layer on those extra layers of protection is a great thing to do and a great safety practice. So wearing your life jacket, looking for lifeguards, looking for partitioned off parts of the lake that are specifically for swimming, where you know that you'll be supervised. All those types of things are great, especially if you're considering if you're going to go boating or go to the beach. Think about all those things and how you're going to pay attention to yourself and for other people in your party. So we recommend never swimming alone in pools or in open bodies of water. It's always important to have someone with you. And certainly we would recommend that folks avoid alcohol or other distractions that could keep them from being safe, especially if you're observing others. Yeah.
You mentioned swimming, but you also mentioned boating, which is the other thing as far as being in a lake or a beach. We've got to talk about that because that is a part of water safety, is if you're boating, not only swimming.
Yeah, and boating, it's important to always have however many people are on the boat, you want to have that many Coast Guard approved life jackets, again, matching the size to the people that you're boating with. So keeping all those things in mind are a great reminder. And then having other ways to catch people. So the bring buoys are a great option on boats or at pools to grab people if they're struggling to swim. So anytime you can think about loading up while you're packing up your car with all the fun stuff to go enjoy on the water, bring those safety devices. Make sure that your phone has batteries so you can call for help if it's needed. And with that, we would also recommend checking out the Red Cross Swim app. It's a free resource that offers all kinds of great tips for swimming and enjoying the water for families, and to keep you mindful while you're out enjoying the good weather.
Let's talk a little bit about, because before we go to some other types of water, since you mentioned the free online app, you have resources on the American Red Cross website for swimming lessons and for water safety lessons and for CPR too.
Certainly. We've got all of that on our website. Definitely encourage you to check out redcross.org. And we have an abundance of excellent apps. So a first aid app is a great resource to have on hand, because accidents and emergencies happen. And until someone can get there to help you, the first aid app will be a great resource to help you respond in case of nicks, cuts, burns, things of that nature. And then the swim app is a great resource for parents that are monitoring children. And then additionally, we have a free online course for parents and caretakers that they can learn some of these tips more in depth on how to monitor and care for children while swimming.
Right. Now, would you, is the classes, especially the CPR, is that, again, parent or caregiver friendly?
Certainly. We'd
Someone
recommend
who
it.
doesn't have, medical background or anything like that?
Yeah, I've been CPR certified several times throughout my life. It's a great, easy course. You'll spend a few hours learning the skills, and at the end of it, the important part is that you'll have the confidence to respond, because what we don't want to happen is someone have an emergency or struggle with some kind of crisis, and everyone's just standing around because they don't feel confident or know how to respond. So CPR classes are a great way to overcome that fear of not doing the right thing. So certainly we'd recommend parents, guardians, caregivers, anyone who's swimming or not swimming. They're great resources to have in your arsenal to keep your family safe.
Yeah, I tell you, you mentioned that, and it made me flashback. There was several years ago, maybe 6, 7, maybe even 10 years ago, as a family, we were at my aunt's house in Florence, and she fainted. She was just sitting there talking, and then all of a sudden she put her head down and she was out. And there were probably 20 of us in the house just running around like chickens with our heads cut off, not knowing what to do. And then Mandy, nobody's phone would work. It was the craziest thing. Everybody was trying to call 911. My one cousin that lives in California, we were in South Carolina. Hers was the only phone that could work. But it just, when you said that, I remember that visual of everybody just going crazy because no one knew what to do. Thank God, the ambulance was able to come because the person from California was able to get through to South Carolina 911. And, she was fine at the time. But I tell you, it is nothing like, I guess, being a loved one and seeing someone in distress and not having the skills to know what to do. It's one thing if you have the skills and you're too nervous. It's a whole nother thing if you don't even have the skills to know what to do.
That's something we celebrate all the time, are the stories of lifesavers who are equipped with Red Cross skills, and they feel confident and they know what to do. So we offer those courses for babysitting. We offer those courses for
great.
First responders. We offer CPR courses. We offer, all kinds of things that are wonderful for families, and they're valuable skills to have, regardless of where you find yourself, at the water or at home or enjoying a family get together like you were talking about. They're great resources just to give you the confidence to know how to respond in an emergency.
Yeah, Mandy McWherter joins us from the American Red Cross. She's the Regional Communications Manager, and you're watching Coping with COVID and It Together SC and the Diabetes Advisory Council of South Carolina present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. And we're talking about water safety. Don't forget to check out that American Red Cross website for more information on, as Mandy said, all of the courses and certifications that they have, all of the great resources they have that are absolutely free. We're looking at the Red Cross website right now, Mandy, and it talks about World Drowning Prevention Day, which was just a couple of days ago. And I know that people can even drown in something as small as a hot tub or a bucket of water.
Yes, we're always warning families about the dangers of being around water. So it's important to, educate your children from a young age about the dangers of water, and to, keep an eye on your kids. It's so important that observational piece of it is really the best way to protect your family, is to avoid distractions. If you're at the pool or enjoying a hot tub, stay off of your phones if your children are having a good time. Stay off of social media and the email, and just focus on your children, because really that observational piece is the most valuable layer of safety that you can offer for your family. And when you think about it, when there's no lifeguards, they're that first layer. So we recommend always staying observant of children and anyone who may struggle with swimming.
Yeah. So as far as the hot tub thing, is it just or the home pool, just sliding down in there? And is that for a child and an adult?
Yes, certainly folks with limited mobility. So the elderly folks may have trouble if they lose their footing in a pool. It's really easy to happen. I was a lifeguard when I was in high school and college, and I had one of my saves was an elderly person who went down the slide, and she just lost her footing when she came out underneath the chute. The water was only 3 feet deep, but she had a hard time with the current of the slide pulling her under the water. So
Wow.
anyone can struggle. It doesn't matter your age, but that's why we always say don't swim alone, because you can help the people that you love and keep them safe.
All right, so we see this World Drowning Day that pops up as soon as you go to the American Red Cross website, and there is a quiz that people can take. Can we take that quiz for a minute?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's take the quiz. So it says, anyone can drown, no one should. Test your water safety knowledge to see if you can be competent in the water. Here's the first question on the water safety quiz. Now it says, do you actually know how to swim? It says answer 5 simple questions to see if you can perform the basic swimming skills needed to be competent in the water. So question number 1, can you step or jump into water over your head? I think, the choices are definitely, if it's not too deep, not going to happen. I think if it's not too deep. I know you know the answer, so. So it says, can you return to the surface and float or tread water for 1 minute?
So I think, Trey, these are asking your personal experience with swimming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I just realized that. Can I return to the tread for 1 minute? I can tread. And then it says, can you turn around in a full circle and find an exit? I'm sure I could figure it out. And then, can you swim 25 yards? I'm not sure. If I can do that. And then it says, can you exit from the water, and if you're in a pool, be able to exit without using a ladder? Yes, of course. All right. So it says, it says I need to sign up for lessons.
Good news. We have an abundance of resources for folks of any age to learn to swim. So you can visit redcross.org and find those lessons. And like we discussed earlier, they're great for any age. So you should feel empowered and comfortable with signing up for those lessons, Trey. Yeah.
No, I feel dumb because I missed the test. I didn't pass the test. So anyway. Well, for more information on water safety, the American Red Cross website has tons of resources. As Mandy said, you can get information on water safety, drowning prevention and facts, activities for kids, parents, and caregivers. As she told us, swimming safely at the beach, lakes, rivers, and streams, hot pool and tub safety, all types of great resources. And you can get that right there on the American Red Cross website. Can we just kind of go over, before you leave, kind of some of the summer swimming, that's the swimming safety tips, Mandy?
Yeah, certainly. So first and foremost, never swim alone. We want to make sure that you're actively supervising children and non-swimmers around the water, even when there's lifeguards. Don't just drop your kids off. Avoid distractions. Learn to swim. Sign up to learn to swim. There's a provider in your area. I'm sure you can visit redcross.org to find those. No matter your age, learning to swim is a life skill, and it's one of the best ways to be safer in and around the water. wherever you're going, look for lifeguards, swim in designated areas that are supervised by lifeguards, wear a life jacket. Remember, we talked about using U.S. Coast Guard approved life jackets in the size that fits, and then learn CPR. It's a great way to respond to emergencies and feel confident that you can do so.
Right. And as you said, make sure everyone enrolls in a swimming class. Get water competent, because as the test said, you may think, because I thought I was going to pass that test. I didn't pass the test. And I'm sure there are other people out there that think they have the skills needed, and just don't. And like you said, you want to be prepared. You don't want to be in a situation where you think you know what to do and you don't know what to do. And then something happens. So, yeah. And like you said, listen, this is not only for the summertime. We live in a region where not only it's warm most of the year, people are going to the pools, but people are boating. People are using their hot tubs. People are using their own pools. And water safety tips are important year around.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mandy McWherter with the Red Cross. She is Regional Communications Manager, and she joined us today to talk about water safety. Once again, if you want more information, please contact the American Red Cross. Thank you again so much for joining us for Coping with COVID. In It Together SC and the Diabetes Advisory Council present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping. Thanks, Mandy.
Thanks, Trey.
You can eat what's good to you and good for you, too.
Yes.
Get the Dash for Southern Soul Cookbook free. All you have to do is ask. It's packed with delicious Southern-style recipes with a healthy twist.
Yummy.
You won't be able to taste the difference, but you will be able to feel the difference.
Yeah.
Inbox your email address to the In It Together or Tailor Made Productions Facebook page, and you'll get it straight to your mailbox. The Dash for Southern Style Cookbook and a Coping with COVID face mask. From In It Together SC, the Diabetes Advisory Council of South Carolina, and Coping with COVID.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor.
The COMET gives me a reliable source of transportation.
It's very convenient to me, and they have wonderful drivers.
It's clean and it builds community. It's fun to meet people.
It makes me feel like really independent. It's just fun.
It's always going to be there, and it gets me everywhere I need to go.
We try to ride every single day. Comedy is our livelihood.
Computers, they're a part of our everyday lives, but when they're not working, they're an everyday problem. So call Computers Unique, your everyday solution. 803-351-5821. Is your computer running slow? Won't turn on? Do you need a screen replaced? Or maybe you just need another computer? Well, Computers Unique is your one-stop shop for all your computer needs. They have a wide variety of new and pre-owned PCs, Macs, and tablets. So call Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. 803-351-5821. 803-351-5821.
Let Palmetto Painting Services take the worry out of your next home painting project. We can paint anything. Our business is about interior painting and exterior painting. We offer services for residential and commercial properties. Restore the life to your home with a fresh coat of paint from Palmetto Painting Services. References are available upon request. Give us a call at 803-546-4570 today.
In It Together SC and the Diabetes Advisory Council of South Carolina present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. I'm Tre Tailor. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hey, don't forget that we are streaming live on the In It Together Facebook page. Please go over there, hit like, follow, and share. And don't forget to check out all of the great information. Plus, if you're interested in a diabetes prevention program, there are so many amazing resources on the In It Together Facebook page and the In It Together website. We're also streaming live on the Tailor Made Production page. Don't forget to go over to the Tailor Made Production page on Facebook and hit like and follow. We would love for you to join us Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and every first Monday. We also have a presence on Instagram and also on Twitter. And also, we're streaming live on YouTube. Listen, we're talking about water safety today. If you are just joining us, thank you so much for watching the replay. Don't forget to rewind and check out our information from the American Red Cross. Such great information and some great tips. And not only that, some great resources that they've got at the American Red Cross. Did you know the number one cause of death for babies, children, is drowning? And it doesn't have to happen. We're heading over to Jeep Rodgers YMCA in Columbia, South Carolina, over in Lake Carolina, beautiful facility over there, to talk to Amy Dodson. She is the aquatics director. She also had some great information. Plus, she lets us see a little kid's swim class, and she had some great tips. Did you know there was a proper way to wear a swim cap? Did you know that there were swim caps for boys? My grandbaby has long hair and he hates the water in his hair and he doesn't want to wear a ponytail. There's swim caps for boys. You've seen them at the Olympics, right? Plus, goggles, they're good, but they're not necessary. If you want to go under the water, you want to see under the water, they're good. The other great tip that she gave us that we didn't capture in the interview is that it's so important to wash yourself and wash your hair after each time you go into the pool immediately, so that you don't get all those chemicals in your hair and the chemicals on your skin. We're going to join Amy Dodson right now. She's the aquatic director for Jeep Rodgers YMCA in Columbia, South Carolina. We're joining us. Thanks for joining us on Coping with COVID. We're talking today about water safety, and you were telling me you guys have been back open since May because of how COVID reacts to chlorine. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so chlorine kills COVID almost instantly, and it can't sustain in the air either because of the way chlorine reacts in the water and around. So it is a very safe environment, and we've been back open since last May.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about, you do several types of swimming classes. We talked to the folks at Red Cross earlier in the show, and they were saying you really need to start swimming as early as 6 months?
Yeah, as fast as you can, kind of thing. 6 months is a good marker. Almost all of the programs we have, whether it is the Red Cross program, a Y program, or something else, they all do start at 6 months. And that's to get the babies acclimated to the water, and they'll be a lot more natural at it, especially if you start younger. Once you get older, you start building those fears, and those fears are hard to overcome. But we work with everyone, all ages, starting at 6 months. And currently, one of our oldest swim participants is in her 70s.
Oh, wow. So you're never too old to learn how to swim. So you were going to share with me some things that, really we need to know as far as water safety.
Yeah. So the Red Cross and the Y both have a program, and the Red Cross is Whales Tails, and it's to focus on safety in, on, and around the water. And the Y has a program called Safety Around Water, and our Safety Around Water program is built to incorporate it into our Learn to Swim program as well.
So I was going to ask you, so what is the main difference between the Red Cross program and the Y program? And is one more preferred? I don't want to say better, but
they're almost identical.
Okay.
They are very, very close. It's verbiage almost to a T. And the Y program focuses on 2 swim principles, which is jump, turn, push, grab, and swim, float, swim. The Red Cross calls that jump or fall, swim to the wall, and swim, float, swim.
Mm-hmm.
And floating is grouped as floating or treading. So it's whichever one is a little easier for you to do, as long as you can swim, flip over on your back, take a breather, swim some more.
Yeah. Are there any types of, are there the better swimsuits for some people than other people?
So I feel like guys in general get the swim trunks and they're good to go, no problem. Women, it is so hard.
Yes.
So hard. Because my top does not match my bottom. Anything, it just doesn't. So find a swimsuit that's good for you. And every single brand is going to be different. So between my sister, who is a college swimmer, she's tall and skinny. Her swimsuits do not match my swimsuits. I had to choose 2 very different brands.
Yeah, I've noticed because I started shopping for myself, I've noticed the trend in, I guess, more, well, coverage. I ended up purchasing a swimsuit that actually had sleeves.
Yeah.
And a zipper up the front. That was great.
So I'm very much always a water person. I wear shorts, like a volleyball spandex kind of shorts, but they're made for swimming. That's the only imagery I can think of. And I always wear a rash guard. I'm very fair skinned. This is my natural hair color. I have light eyes. I am not going to get risk of cancer or try my best. So rash guards are always going to help.
Yeah, now with rash guards, that's interesting that you say that because I'm just learning about rash guards because I have a 5-year-old grandson and he has to have a shirt on. I mean, he's just funny about that. And it's funny because when I started looking for swimsuits with a swim shirt, rash guard kept coming up. I was like, oh, is that, so it's really a thing?
So rash guards have SPF built into them.
Oh, okay.
So it helps not only keep you from the direct sun rays, it also helps keep you cool as well. So it's like a dry fit crossed with sunscreen.
So there are specific, you can't just get a shirt that, kind of looks like it may be, with that material.
Right.
I don't even know what material it's called.
The dry fit material is very close. And the only reason why a rash guard is different is because it has SPF built into it. And then if you're coming to a pool, I will always suggest you not wear a cotton shirt because those cotton fibers do get pushed into the filtration system and it makes it very hard for the pool operator later in the long run.
Yes.
Anything dry fit clothes I always will encourage, and rash guards.
Good. I love that. Rash guards are good and nothing cotton. And, buy a swimsuit that you feel comfortable in.
100%.
Yeah.
So swimsuits you feel comfortable in. If you start getting more competitive, swimsuit with drawstrings are always the way to go, especially with diving. I'm sure we've all watched diving recently. I got to make sure those drawstrings are tied.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't want nothing popping out. We're talking to Amy Dodson. She is the aquatics director at the Jeep Rodgers YMCA. You may see in the background because there's a couple of swimming classes going on. We're going to show you some of that in just a minute. But you said you have a whole presentation that we're going to talk about now and show, Amy, that you kind of present to schools. Tell us about that.
So it's to bring awareness. One of the Y's biggest slogans is for swimming is Earth is 71% water and your children are 100% curious. And they truly are. So in that, while we don't believe that it's a threat for us to be part of water, water is just something you want to learn. You want to add it to your curriculum. You want to learn math, science, reading, writing, and you also want to learn how to swim because it's a life skill.
Yeah.
And on average, we have in the United States alone, people on average 100 drownings a day.
Wow.
So it's over 1,000. It is the second leading cause of drowning in the United States for children 1 to 14.
That's unbelievable. And a lot because, like you said, they're curious.
Yes.
And unfortunately, like we talked about with the folks at the Red Cross, there's nobody around that knows CPR.
It's true. Yep. CPR is another aspect that we got to learn. And also learning not only about CPR, about water that's curious, is learning about your water and what is around. So if you are in a stream or a pond or a lake, we also are living on the coast, so there's riptides, currents, and that education isn't being brought to our children. So they don't know what to do when there is a riptide. They don't know what to do when you're caught too far in the ocean. And those are some real risks that we have.
Yeah. In It Together SC and the Diabetes Advisory Council of South Carolina present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. I'm Tre Tailor. Amy Dodson joins us. She is the aquatics director with Jeep Rodgers YMCA. What are some of the other points that you share with people in schools, Amy?
Yeah, so it's the breakdown of our state specifically. We are one of the highest in the United States, and that's due to a culture of us not learning to swim and our parents not learning to swim.
Wow.
And even at that is just because you're comfortable in water doesn't mean that you know how to swim. And so the breakdown for South Carolina is In South Carolina specifically, research shows that on our state, it's 64% African American, 45% Latin, and 40% Caucasian have no swim ability.
Yeah.
And that's extremely high. And on top of that, children that have the household income less than $50,000 have little to no swim ability.
Well, I think that's probably because, and you can probably answer this more than I, they don't have accessibility to it. It's just not accessibility.
It's really not. Our pool is one that's, we have our swim team pulls from all the way out from Florence, most of Crenshaw County. They all come here to swim because they don't have a pool. And not only do you not have a pool during the low season, it's very crowded during a summer season when we do have our outdoor pools open.
Yeah. What are you seeing here at Jeep Rodgers Y as far as kids wanting to learn or being enrolled in swim lessons?
Everyone wants to, especially when they're little, they want to learn. Our swim lessons are doing amazing.
Great.
And the other thing is we don't turn away anybody for inability to pay. And that's something that I always holds true, is because we are a very charitable organization. Through the donations of our community, we're able to provide that. And also we work with our school system to have safety around water programs. So we have all of second grade, or as many second graders as we can learn to swim.
Yeah, as you're talking, I'm watching, people walk back and forth. And I know that because, like I said, I have a 3-year-old now and a 5-year-old, and they wanted to learn how to swim. But I'm telling you, during COVID, you just couldn't find any place. And that's why I was so surprised you guys started really early. And honestly, I don't think I looked at the why. I looked at, I don't know why. I think I just looked at, Park and Rec, Richland County Recreation Department. Just the why, just I don't know why, girl. It just escaped me.
Depends on where you are.
Yeah.
There are whys, a few and far between, but there's one in almost every community.
And there's one down the street from me. I live near 5 Points. I don't think that Y has a pool. Yeah.
But if you go ask them, they'll tell you that both out here in Lake Carolina and over in our Irmo branch, both of us have pools, and we're working where we have every certified swim instructor through YUSA, and as you can see over in this corner, we got swim lessons going from sun up to sundown.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you kind of because a lot of lessons are going on in the middle of the day. Some parents may not be able to take their kids in the middle of the day. They're working, so.
Well, that's fine. We have lessons starting in our evening classes start at 4:30, and they go all the way up until 7, because kids go.
Yeah. And then do you have them on the weekend too?
Yep, Saturday lessons. We start at 8:15 in the morning and go all the way until 11:45.
Now you said that you have a couple of different classes. One is just kind of getting acclimated to the water, right?
So our program starts with water acclimation. It's our first stage. Past our water discovery water exploration, which is classified as water babies, swim starters. So those are your parent or guardian is in the water with you, and you guys are learning to swim together. Also, that's the big one. Whereas if you're learning to potty, or if we're working on potty train, wear a vinyl diaper. I know we go to Walmart and Target and you see swimmies and things like that. Those are not good. All they do, it's like putting a shirt on the issue. And so if you have an accident in the pool, we'll still have to shut down. Whereas a vinyl diaper,
oh wow,
it's a reusable diaper that you have to keep everything trapped in there and able to run and go to the bathroom.
That is great information to know, because of course with the 3-year-old, I've got a bunch of swimmies. So swimmies really are not good in the pool.
So swimmies are better than the regular diaper, because your regular diaper will absorb all the water.
I've seen that.
So it does not stop anything. So if there's an accident in the pool, you still have to shut down.
And you don't want to be the one that shuts down the pool.
Whereas your vinyl diaper is going to help give you that extra layer of protection. The way they're designed is it's elastic around the waist and their legs, and it is encompassed by a cloth, but in between those two layers is a plastic.
Where do you get vinyl diapers from?
You can get them at Target, Walmart.
Really? I say, and if you can't find it, you can find it on Amazon. Yeah, this is Amy Dodson. She is joining us on a Wellness Wednesday. In It Together SC and the Diabetes Advisory Council of South Carolina present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. And we've been talking about their swimming lessons. So you talked about the babies with the parents, which is great. I think that is great that you do offer kind of family lessons, because you're right. I mean, you know, if we're looking at the kids are learning how to swim, the parents need to know how to swim too.
That's right. And it starts with, feeling comfortable as a parent. You're going to be more comfortable when you have your kids in the pool learning to swim.
Yeah.
And then our program starts without the parents, starts at stage 1 in our water acclimation. And they learn how to independently go under the water by themselves, make sure you're blowing bubbles, and getting to start doing those grand movements of getting your arms moving, legs moving. And then each stage increases. Stage 1 is completely assisted by your instructor. Stage 2, you start working on becoming more independent. Stage 3, you want to work on floating on your back. And then stage 4, you introduce those strokes that we watch in the Olympics. And then stage 5 and 6, you're working on your endurance as well as your breathing, and really developing those skills to be able to swim across the pool and even join our swim team.
The swim team. Oh, that's awesome. Share with us some of the other information that you typically share about swimming.
So it's the before and after, kind of like before primary school, after primary school. As we said, the leading cause in infants and children is drowning, and it's the second leading cause in 1 to 14. Boys have a higher risk. I feel like boys
really, they're daring.
They're daring. They're willing to jump off the dock. They're willing to do flips. They're willing to do those. So those are those aspects that increase in that as well. And many adults and children report that they can't swim themselves. The baseline of to where you can swim to where you're not is 5 things. If you're able to jump into water greater than yourself, so 7 to 8 feet, swim the length of the pool. So it's not any pool, it's the 25 yards, and that's what our pool is. And get out independently, as well as tread water, tread float for a minute by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to get in and out a couple of times, swimming that length, and being able to tread water. And those are the big ones that determine whether you feel comfortable in the water or not. And reports do say that most children and adults are unable to do that after they're presented. This is what it means to be able to swim.
Yeah.
And then the other big thing, also making sure we're boat safety. I feel like we are in an area that does have high boating.
Yeah.
Plus sides to boats is almost anything on a boat floats. Downside is not everyone thinks about wearing the correct life jacket.
Yeah.
Make sure it's U.S. Coast Guard approved. I know we can go to Walmart and get those ones that you blow into, and they look like little cute water wings, but those have such a high risk of popping.
Wow.
If you overinflate them, underinflate them, if your child tips forward or backwards, and that's a high risk of drowning as well. Even though you feel like they're safe with the water wings, in reality, the water wings are not giving you that sense of security, because it's a false security. So always look for U.S. Coast Guard approved. The puddle jumpers are for the little ones. They're very similar, but they have the correct kind of padding, and you don't have to put in that air. So I always recommend getting your kids in puddle jumpers, or even just a life jacket if they don't like them. And it's always good. And then after school, that 16 and older age frame, the high risk is if you add alcohol. It's almost 70% of deaths occur in water because
your guard is down.
Your guard is down. You're not paying attention.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh. So the other things is education, knowing what is. Children that take swim lessons are at an 88% reduced rate of drowning, and also children who survive, 92% of them that are discovered within 2 minutes have a lifelong battle with it, because of brain damage starts happening so quickly.
Yeah. All right, this is Amy Dodson. She is the aquatics director at Jeep Rodgers YMCA. Anything in closing, Amy, that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I always encourage anyone, all ages, if you don't feel comfortable in a group setting, don't worry about it. We have private lessons. and the why doesn't turn away for inability to pay. So I always encourage everyone of every age to come and learn to swim.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today on Coping with COVID. In It Together, SC and the Diabetes Advisory Council present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday on Coping with COVID. I'm Tre Tailor. Wow, what a great show today. Such great information on water safety. I want to thank Amy Dodson with Jeep Rodgers YMCA. I'm going to get my babies out there. And also Mandy McWherter with the American Red Cross. Listen, if you have a story or initiative that could help someone cope with COVID, please go over to the TailorMade production page and inbox us. We would love to feature your story or initiative. Do you have a product or service that could help someone cope with COVID? Please email copingwithtreitailor@gmail.com. And we would love for you to be a proud sponsor of Coping with COVID, just like In It Together SC, the Diabetes Advisory Council of South Carolina, SCDHEC, the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, also Palmetto Media Connections, the COMET Bus System, Javis Tax Services, Agape Counseling and Training Center, Palmetto Painting Services, Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall, and also the Richland County 5th Circuit Solicitor's Office in Kershaw and Richland County. We would love for you to be a proud sponsor, just like all of our sponsors. Now, coming up tomorrow, we are going to continue our coverage of local, state, and national elections. Going to talk to State Representative Mia McLeod. She is running for governor of South Carolina. Also, Columbia City Council candidate, Attorney Tyler Berry. Then we're going to Charleston on Saturday to talk to the owner of Booze Pops. It's a little bit popsicle and a little bit boozy. Woody Norris, the founder of Booze Pops, is going to be joining us live in Charleston coming up on Saturday on Coping with COVID. As usual, I leave you with a reading from Jesus Calling. Today is July 28th, and Jesus is saying today, "Let my love seep into the inner recesses of your being. Do not close off any part of yourself to me. I know you inside and out. So don't try to present a cleaned up version of yourself. The wounds that you shut away from the light of my love will fester and become wormy. Secretive sins that you hide from me can split off and develop lives of their own, controlling you without you even realizing it. Open yourself up fully to my transforming presence," Jesus says. "Let my brilliant love light search out and destroy hidden fears. This process requires time alone with me as my love soaks into your innermost being. Enjoy my perfect love," Jesus says, "because it expels every trace of fear." That's your Jesus Calling for today, Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday, July 28th. In It Together SC and the Diabetes Advisory Council of South Carolina present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. I'm Tre Tailor. Thank you so much for joining us. Until the next time, I wish you peace, abundant blessings, stay safe, be careful, and remember to get your vaccination and wear your mask over your nose and under your chin. See you tomorrow.
Coping with COVID and In It Together present Wellness Wednesday, brought to you by the Diabetes Advisory Council of South Carolina and DHEC's Division of Diabetes and Heart Disease Management.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor.